Good morning to all my Tottenham fans around the UK and around the world, maybe, if you're watching this. So this is my preview show for the Aston Villa game this weekend. A big shout out to Robbie from Lily White Lane for allowing me to give my take on the game this week. What do we need this week? Right, so we really need to be better this week. We all know we've been absolutely chancing our luck over the last few weeks, maybe even over the course of the season. We've been lucky with some of the games, and obviously we did have that dip sort of midpoint through the season. But on Saturday we really need to pick up things, because you know, Aston Villa, a different kettle of fish, different breed of a team this year. They're not going to be a low block team like, you know, like Crystal Palace we had on Saturday, and they will come at you. They will come at you. They have absolutely amazing wingers, likes of Leon Bailey. You got Watkins up front. You know, they've just got players that can hurt you. We need to be much more clinical this week, and hopefully, I'm thinking maybe we get the likes of Porro back. We don't know yet. We don't know what's happening, but it'd be good to have both our wing backs back fit and healthy. At least that's a positive for us. But yeah, Timo Werner. Let's start with Timo Werner, because last week that one-on-one, absolutely shocking. You can see it's, you know, a player who's a bit void of confidence when it comes to, you know, shooting in front of goal. But you know, hopefully this goal that he scored, or the goal that he scored last week, gives him a bit more confidence. What I would like to see this week against Villa is him taking players on. Take your man on, drop your shoulder, take a shot, show that, you know, you have that confidence in you to score. But again, for me, he's not the long-term answer, but he's here now, and it seems like Angie's gonna, you know, Angie's set on playing him every week in that front three. So I think Johnson as well, you know, for me, he's got to be a bit part player this season. And when I say bit part, I don't mean, you know, not playing him in games or 5 minutes here and there, but where I think he's most useful is when he's coming off the bench in that last 20 minutes or so. Opposition legs are tired, and he can actually hurt the opposition team, you know, with that pace that he has. So we're going to have to be, you know, we're going to have to be on point this weekend. Villa is going to come at us. They're chasing that Champions League spot. We're chasing that Champions League spot. I just think that they have, you know, slightly better players up front than us. You know, we have Son, who for me, you know, is our best player. But if you look at their attack, you know, it's you've got the likes of Diaby, Leon Bailey, Watkins, McGinn's playing well as well. Fullbacks, Matty Cash, Luca Digne. I just think that they will come at us this weekend, and we, you know, if we play anything like we played in the first half against Crystal Palace, which I might add was woeful, you know, we're going to get peppered, you know. And I think most of this has to do with the fact that, you know, we're playing in a structured system, Angie's structured system. A lot of the players sort of have to adhere to that system, so to speak. So although it may seem like there's a lot of freedom for the players because of the fast-paced football that we're playing, it is in fact, in my opinion, it's quite rigid, if you're asking me, because I think Emery would have looked at that as a plan, maybe. But you know, look, they won't be afraid of us this weekend. They can hurt opposition. I think, you know, for us it's vitally important, seeing as Manchester United lost as well against Manchester City. We're now an 8-point advantage, but we all know that can change real quick. And you know, I think we just need to keep that pace for the next 5 games. If we can sort of establish that lead, you know, keep it there, I think it'll hold us in good stead good stead for the run-in later on this year. So I think it's going to be a tight one. I do think, you know, between Villa, Tottenham, Manchester United, it's going to be a close run thing. So look, we can't be disappointed if we finish outside of the top 4. I think my prediction was top 8 this season, based off the fact that new manager, new system, new players potentially. So I can't be too disheartened. I think most of you might agree with me as well. So my expectations are slightly tempered. And I think the beginning of the season was a bit of a false reading, because we were on a fantastic run, but we all knew that, you know, a couple of injuries here and there, we were going to be in trouble, and that was the case. So look, I think on the weekend, what do I think will happen? I think we can nick a draw. I think it'll be very tit for tat. I think it will be, you know, well, look, I think it's either going to be a high scoring game where both sides are scoring, or Villa's just going to run away with it and we'll capitulate if we played like we played on the weekend in the first half against Aston Villa, against Crystal Palace. I honestly think, you know, we need to improve on that performance. But having said that, I mean, Palace with the low block, it's that age-old problem again, isn't it? We can't sort of get around that low block. Whereas Villa will come at us. Villa will leave spaces, but we need to exploit those spaces. We need Son to be the spearhead, make those runs, be clever, you know, get into those little pockets where the ball might fall to you. For me, I think Bentancur hasn't been on top form, and I think he might be the one to sort of bite the bullet this weekend. And I'd probably go with Maddison, Sarr, and one other, whoever that one other is going to be. I'd hate to say Højbjerg, because I just think he slows us down too much. It's probably, yeah, for me, Sarr, Bissouma and Maddison has got to be the trio. I mean, Bissouma wasn't great, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch against Crystal Palace. So for me, those three start. Bentancur to come on perhaps in the second half, some fresh legs, someone who can sort of dictate the tempo. But for me, I think he didn't cover himself in glory last week against Crystal Palace. So that will be my 3. We're hoping to have our fullbacks back, Porro and Udogie. And, you know, look, Romero and Van der Ven are your mainstays up top. Probably looking at Werner, Son and Kulusevski again. I don't think he'll change it much, but I think Bentancur's form probably will dictate Ange's decision for this week in swapping him over with Sarr. I think Sarr did pretty well. I do believe he won the ball back for Son's goal. I think it dropped to Son from Sarr's press. And that's one thing he does well, you know. He presses, he pushes, he harries players, you know. He tracks back. I think, you know, dynamically, Sarr gives you a lot on the pitch. And if he's fit and healthy, we've seen it with, you know, with his national team as well. You know, he's a fantastic player, young, you know, his ceiling is so high. So that'll be my trio for the weekend. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw optimistically. But it's going to be a tough one. My heart is saying, you know, 2-2 draw, but my head's saying Villa will nick it 3-1 perhaps. You know, they're just a team who, you know, we saw against Luton Town, they can just put you to the sword. But they can concede goals as well. You know, Luton come back into the game, it was 2-2, albeit for a late Lucadinha goal. So, you know, I think Tottenham can take heart from that. You know, Tottenham can look at that and think, we can hurt them, we can score goals. And we've got better players than Luton. It's as simple as that. So, you know, look, Villa will be looking at us thinking they can hurt us. We'll be looking at Villa thinking we can exploit certain areas, maybe from set pieces. So it's going to be an interesting game. You know, both teams need the points. We need points, you know, to sustain that gap between us and United and keep us close to Villa. And Villa know they need the 3 points to keep them away from us. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. and you know, whatever happens. We've still got a good 13 games to go or so, so anything can happen. But stay positive, Lily Whites, stay positive. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of work to be done with this Tottenham team, which, you know, it's not going to be done overnight, or this year certainly, but surely we'll get there next season. Hopefully Andrew will, you know, sort out the team next season when the transfer window opens again, or later in the summer, and we'll see what happens from there. But we've done fantastically well this season so far, and we've performed above expectations. But you know, we're a work in progress. So let's keep the faith, Lily Whites. Let's keep that faith and see where it takes us this season. And come on, you Spurs! Big shout out to Robbie as well.